Good morning again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual disclaimers. In the description box, you're going to find the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share on all your social media. You also have NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually has the balls to see through with their threat. We got the pertinent links to the Agape boarding school situation as well. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has and pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it. These claims include sexual assault, sodomy, rape, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, and yes, even starvation. And that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor who's still on the premises with full access of the boys, up on multiple substantiated claims by the Department of Social Services of rape, sodomy, and sexual assault of the boys there. You got a brand new attorney general who's another mega GOP. Yay. Yay! Who's still yet to make any comment in regards to what he's planning to do to protect these boys. And you got a governor who's hyped up on a power trip. So, folks, please read all those articles. Share them on all your social media. Don't forget to share and sign the change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. We got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet over shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and watching this channel, parental supervision is advised. Trigger warning, we are about to descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear victim blaming, gaslighting, pseudoscience, lie upon lie upon lie, abuse apologencia, and enough ableism and bigotry to circle the globe several times. So just be prepared. Be prepared for the stupid, alright? Be prepared for it because it's coming. Alright, let me drink some of my calming tea before I start and descend into this guy's idiocy. Recognition that behavioral skin shock can be an effective decelerative consequence can be found surprisingly even among the proponents of positive-only treatment behaviors. Lie! You want to know who says they support it in his idea of positive-only? ABA. Yeah. He likes to call them positive only because they're not recommending shock devices be used on children. His idea of positive only and what these programs actually look like under their proper terminology are two very fucking different things. ABA is not positive only. They have their own version of adversives that they use, such as ignoring the child when they're obviously in pain because they have to learn how to deal with it. Yeah. Those are the people he's saying back him, which makes sense because ABA uses adversives. Now, newsflash, by the way, ABAI has recently removed their support of the JRC and the shit they get up to there. So there's also that, okay? He is not at all in any way, shape, or form referencing any of these places out there that use positive reinforcement, okay? At all. None of the people who actually use those programs will say that JRC is the way to go, okay? Speaking as someone who's worked in the field, doctor, you're full of shit. Okay? But let's move on here. For an example, a 2005 paper co-authored by Dr. Freda Brown, one of the persons cited as contributing information for the MDRI report, reported that as many as 10% of a group of 73 well-respected proponents of positive-only treatment procedures admitted when given the chance to respond by a confidential questionnaire that they would use skin shock in circumstances. Lie. Shall I start? First of all, when he says co-authored, he left something out. Guess who was her co-author? If you said Matthew Israel, you would be correct. So once again, he is touting one of his own papers as so-called evidence. And these people who responded to the questionnaire were individuals, if you look up the MDR report, and if you look at the FDA hearings, who are proponents and experts in, shocker, ABA. These are not individuals who used specifically and by itself positive behavioral reinforcement. So he's selling you a bullshit lie here. He's trying to tell you by emphasizing, but they're positive only, he's trying to get you to connect the dots where there's none to be made. He's trying to get you, by using similar terminology, to link the two. Very clever, but not clever enough, doctor. Not for me. What he doesn't tell you is a matter of fact. Many of the individuals that have come against him and his torture devices do not agree at all with him that shock devices should ever be used for any reason, period, bye-bye, nada, zilch, nothing, see you later. People who have come out against him and skin shock and all the other shit he gets up to are ARC. Again, folks, ARC is the largest provider of services for children and adults with myriad of disabilities in the United States, period. Their consumer list is in the millions. It's massive. And they have come out loudly against this concept of using shock as a punishment. Okay? Who else has come out against them? Other major groups, Easter Seals being one of the examples. March of Dimes have come out to condemn them. And one of the largest organizations in regards to mental health in this country, bar fucking none, NAMI, has come out against this bullshit. He wants you to believe, but they actually would say in some circumstances, not the big groups, not the groups who actually have any kind of push at all. That is a lie. It's a bad one and a very provable one. Doctor, it's kind of difficult for you to tote a lie when there's just so many receipts. Everything that just came out of his mouth was a lie, and he used it to back it up with a paper he co-authored. Again, the balls on this guy, right? Doctor, if you're the one in question, you can't use your own paper as your support. You are supposed to use a paper done outside of yourself from a completely non-biased party who has no dog in the fight. You have failed to do so time and time and time again. Matter of fact, when you had your fucking lawyer come on, Anderson Cooper, back in 2012, he was eviscerated and destroyed by some of the biggest psychologists and psychiatrists in the country. They have, in fact, come forward with the fact that none of your shit has been peer reviewed. So once again, folks, gigantic lie. Vagueness. Similar sounding terms to make you connect the dots in your mind so that nobody can actually pull him into a civil lawsuit for lies and misinformation. You're not even good, doctor. I was going to say you're good, but I'm better, but you're not even good. You're just fucking sad. On to the next paragraph, shall we? For a small number of individuals with severe behavior problems, the availability of aversives may be needed on a long-term prosthetic basis. So here is where he's going to use his, he's going to try to excuse the fact that he leaves these devices on these kids for years. It doesn't actually solve anything. In fact, if you take the kids off, understandably, very logically, the behaviors get worse because psychological trauma. But he doesn't want you to know that. He would rather blame us for trying to take away life-saving treatment instead of acknowledging the damage that he has done to these kids to get them to the point that they are. When you're abused, one of two reactions, or even three, tend to happen, and I know this from personal experience. Rage, aggression, and anger. Hi, how you doing? That was me. In case anyone was wondering, that was me. Complete emotional shutdown. That's just to where you will literally condition yourself to just take it. And you will, in fact, avoid conflict at all costs. Try to bring people down from aggression. You see where I'm going there, don't you? Or even the third, you just become a robot. Okay? Many of us have experienced one, two, or even all three. So is it even shocking to anyone, for lack of a better term, that these kids, when taken off these devices, would exhibit exactly that? Not with anyone who's ever studied psychology, even just a little bit. Okay? It's very understandable. If you use logic and if you have an actual heart instead of a horrible dark hole in your soul. And let's continue here. When used this way, aversives function like eyeglasses, hearing aids, or prosthetic limbs. Are you fucking kidding me? Last time I checked, doctor, my glasses that I wear don't hurt me. Last time I checked, hearing aids are not designed to hurt their wearers. Prosthetic limbs are not designed to hurt their wearers. You're full of shit. You're comparing. This is not even apples and oranges. This is comparing an apple to a fucking full-size semi-truck. Okay? You're literally comparing an apple to a full semi. None of these things have anything to do with the shit that you tote. Nor do they even have anything to do with the issues that you're supposedly dealing with. Your analogies are fucking pathetic. Did this sound good in your head, doctor, when you were writing this down? Did it sound official to you? Because you sound like an idiot. Okay? When they are available to the individual, his or her quality of life is vastly better than when they are not available. Is that what you call quality of life? Living in fear? Afraid that if you even make the slight sound wrong, you're going to be tortured? Being afraid of your own fucking shadow? How does that make that life better, doctor? But you're free from behaviors, though. Isn't that better? No, you fucktard. What the fuck? Ruling through fear turns the person who's being ruled through fear, their life into a fucking nightmare. They're living a nightmare. They're living in their own personal fucking hell. And you call that better? Really? But what happens when you don't have it and your life turns to shit and everything gets worse? Gee, ya fucking think? It's called psychological trauma and has interesting effects, and it manifests itself in the behaviors had by the people who now suffer them because of what you did. Okay? You're supposed to be a psychologist. You would think you would understand these things, but very obviously not. Okay? No one's life is better because of torture. And you calling it treatment does not change what it actually is. This is an individual who probably agrees with everyone that you can actually substitute real reality with an alternative, and anybody who doesn't agree with you is a bigot. Because I have a feeling he might be one of those guys. Okay? Torture does not make anyone's life better. Torture makes it worse. And when that fear is removed, the resentment, the anger, the self-loathing, the fucking pain, suffering, and misery that you have made this kid hold in. Funny thing about those of us who learn how to bury emotions, especially when we're neurodiverse. When those finally bust free, you don't want to be around when that happens. Okay? Trust me, you don't want to be fucking around when that happens. You cannot justify what you do, doctor. Your arguments are paper thin, at best, completely batshit at most. You live in a fantasy la-la land where you think you can experiment with us and get away with it. And if we dare fight it, you think your piss-poor fucking excuses, lies, and pseudoscience is going to band-aid everything. And that people should just accept it because you're a doctor. No. No. Let's wrap it up, shall we? Then I got one last video to do, and then I gotta go kick my own ass again. Yay! This doctor wants to convince you that this is unharmful. He wants to convince you of this insane idea that the shock treatment that he does is the same as me wearing glasses. It's analogies that don't even make any coherent sense. Okay? Doesn't make sense. If you were even logical and actually trying to make your bullshit arguments good, you would have at least used something that is actually within your field to compare it to, but he doesn't. Because he doesn't think we are smart enough, folks. That means you neurotypicals out there. He doesn't believe you're smart enough to see through his bullshit, even as he uses absolutely piss-poor analogies to explain himself. This is a view of not only how batshit insane this man is, but how contemptuously he views the people he's supposedly helping. He's one of those guys who says there's a sucker born every minute. I'm ready to take his wallet. Then I'm going to torture his kid. He's that guy. And this is why he cannot be taken seriously by anyone who is in the medical field. And most of them view him as an absolute embarrassment, a stain on the face of their profession. Okay? That's the real truth. There is a reason why New York is actively seeking to get every single New York kid the fuck out of that program and into something else. That should tell you something. They saw something there. And it's not the bullshit he's selling you. And anyone who wants to sit there and say, well, maybe they just don't understand. When you have doctors in your own field looking at you like you're batshit insane, but then you want to play the victim, yeah, fucking don't. Let's close out on that, shall we? Oh no, actually, let me read this last part because I got a feeling I'm going to rage. Sometimes students welcome the skin shock procedure, recognizing that it helps them to control their behaviors that are otherwise out of control and or educational treatment progress that they can't make without its help. That's a fucking lie. That is a lie, folks. Want to know how it's a lie? I'll tell you. Many of us, as I've told you before, are good at faking. We're good at masking because we have to be. We're very good at making you believe that we agree with you. And you want to know why that is? Because we're trying to get the least amount of punishment and abuse as humanly possible. And if that means we have to act like we are in love with your ideas and have complete Stockholm Syndrome, we're going to do it. I notice because I've done it. Many others have done it. Unless you are actually inside of our heads, doctor, you can't actually know if this is really true or not. Many of those students have come out of your school since then and are no longer on your torture device. They can talk. And they've been talking. They've been talking for over a decade. This is a lie. But it's a lie we'll sell the doctor so that we can get the least amount of torture on us as humanly possible. We'll play your little game until we no longer have to. Because we do whatever we fucking have to survive. That's the truth. Now I'm going to close out. Before that, though, I gotta rage a little bit. Nobody actively says, yes, I would love to be shocked with painful shocks that will make me scream and miserable. Sign me up. Nobody. Okay? Not unless you're a masochist of some kind. I mean, to each their own, you know. But most of us, they don't sign up for that kind of intensity of pain, doctor. You fucking know it. No one signs up to be tortured, starved, and sleep deprived. No one signs up to be accosted at every single fucking corner. No one asks for that. And if you think they are, maybe you're the abuser too. Okay, now I'll close out. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.